So I'm talking to my buddy. Mm-hmm. He's never seen Dateline. He's hanging out with his mom.
Okay.
She says, oh, let's watch Dateline. He tells me they fast forwarded to the end to find out who did it.
What?
They didn't actually watch it. They watched the beginning, and then they were like, all right, let's go to the end to find out who did it.
Okay, I've got a number of follow-ups, but first and most important question, please don't tell me this was the Sante Kimes episode. Do not tell me they fast-forwarded through the Sante Kimes Dateline.
No, I don't think it was. Actually.
You said that aired recently, dude.
I did, but was that Friday or Saturday?
Why bother? I'm so annoyed by that, Kate. Are you still friends with this person? Or have you cut him off entirely? What's the vibe here?
I gave him hell.
What the... Boy, that frustrates me a lot. Mm-hmm. Just don't watch it. I'd be happier if he was like, oh, I prefer 2020. That I'd be okay with. If he finished watching stuff.
Sure. It's offensive.
Yeah.
Attention shoppers, we've got to clean up on Aisle H.
What the other wolves think?
A true crime cleanup on Aisle H.
Diabolical.
Starting now.
No, he's telling you that she's bats.
Howdy, Holtheads. Kurt Money here, alongside my co-host,
Caitlin.
And we are here to discuss the show True Nordic Crimes. Now, this is new territory for us, Caitlin.
We've never done anything like this before.
Never. And now, we love a fictional crime that takes place in a Nordic setting. Mm-hmm. But I found this show on Amazon of actual crimes that took place over there. I'm going to read you the description of our episode, Kate, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay.
This episode is called The Airline Murder. It aired February 28th of 2015. When the first Icelandic jet was purchased, a number of pilots went to the U.S. for training. 2 of them did not finish the regimen, with catastrophic consequences. I feel it's necessary for me to say this takes place in 1967.
That is important.
This is an old-ass story.
Yes.
Which was, I told you before we started recording that I was very frustrated by this ep, and it was only in that it was hard to prove things or find follow-up info between the language barrier and the fact that, like, there wasn't as much, like, note-keeping back then. Like, it's, it's an old-ass freaking murder. Mm-hmm. So there's a ton of stuff where I was like, wait, what does this mean? And I couldn't find an answer. So I was like, it's driving me a little mental. Mm. But what'd you think, Kate? What'd you think of this episode? What'd you think of the show?
It felt like the narration was AI.
Okay, wasn't. It's 2015, so we know for a fact it was not.
But it was definitely rudimentary in its translation from Icelandic, I assume, or maybe not. Maybe it originally aired in Norwegian. I don't know, but translated in very simple words because it sounded, I don't want to say juvenile, but...
No, there are a few lines, and I wrote them down because I want to mention them, where it's like, oh, that's strictly, like, word for word, the person reading from a translated document.
Yes.
There's a few things where I was like, no one would ever, they didn't say that in the moment.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I even tried to find a book or something on it, and I could not. But I'm curious, I was going to look at the credits to see what I could figure out. It looked, from what I could tell, this puppy was produced over there, I feel. Mm-hmm. Like all the names in the credits I saw before it changed. Amazon, 5 sec. I could not get to the remote fast enough, and it had already gone to the next episode. Another frustrating thing about the streamers.
Yeah.
But I was hoping to find out a little bit more info on that. Now, one thing we're burying the lead here. This puppy's TRT. 26 men!
Shortest thing yet?
No, certainly not. FF's 2150, dude.
Okay, all right.
Did we do the show yet that the duration was 1949?
No.
That must just be on the docket. But yeah, this was 26 minutes, which is a weird duration. I guess if it aired over there,
maybe that's how they roll, yeah.
Like maybe not as many commercials as we do or something. But yeah, had you ever heard of this story?
No, and the fact that you can't find anything with more detail about it makes me think maybe Iceland tried to kind of bury it because they're embarrassed.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna get that vibe in this story where, like, this was a big event for Iceland, and they did not like that this embarrassing thing happened, which may have been what could have prevented this murder had they been open about it. Mm-hmm. There were some interesting warnings at the beginning of the app that I've never seen before. Like, there was the usual ones. It was weird. It was like a DVD where it was like, don't you dare copy this. I was reading that as I copied it. Sorry, Nordic true crime. This belongs to K-Bun now. And then there was one that said, this dramatization cannot be used as a source for real events. The hell does that mean?
Is it like, yes, we reenacted it, but don't hold us to the accuracy of it?
Yeah, I'm assuming, because this episode has a ton of real footage in it. I feel.
It does.
Look, it might not be from these specific dates, but I feel like it's real footage from Air Iceland from the 60s and stuff. Mm-hmm. Because again, it's 2015, so I feel comfortable saying it's not AI. It's real stock footage of something back then. And then the intercut with, they had B-roll, or they had like actors reenacting stuff. So maybe they just meant the reenactment parts, like don't like put this on the news because this wasn't real.
Because we're stupid and we think reenactments are real.
Yeah, thanks for the warning. Yeah. But there was a ton of great footage in here, and we see some shots of newspapers and stuff. I mean, I can't read a lick of it, obviously, but just the name of the newspaper. I like seeing old newspapers from other countries and stuff.
You don't speak Icelandic, Kurt?
I don't. Now, do I know someone who does? There is someone who is going to speak something to me right now in another language. It was you, Kate.
Well, I don't know Icelandic.
What do you know?
But I've been learning Norwegian.
You've been learning, like this is an active thing.
For the past month, yes.
Why?
That's a great question. I can't tell you.
Oh, okay. I mean, look, any language is cool. I just feel like, because you don't speak other languages, but it's not like you speak Spanish or French or something.
I speak a little Espanol, Kurt.
Oh, okay. I just meant Norwegian feels like a weird choice.
It's not one of the Romance languages, so it's very hard to learn. But it's still Germanic, so it's not like I have to learn Cyrillic letters or anything. The Nordic languages are all different, but very closely related. So if you learn one, you can kind of get a feel for the others.
Ooh, okay. I just props to people who learn a second language, let alone 5 or 10 or anything. Our story begins in Iceland, March 13th of 1967. Air Iceland gets the country's first jet, a Boeing 727.
The pilots who were to fly the jet were considered heroes. They had been sent to attend a training course in the U.S.
In June, they'll be flying the plane from Seattle, like from Boeing in Seattle, to Iceland, and they had this big ceremony planned. We're seeing footage of a big ceremony. I think it was theirs. I tried doing an image search on that lady who was wearing like a crazy queen outfit. Did you see her in the B-roll?
Yes. What was her deal?
I couldn't tell, and Google didn't help me out. First thing it said was, oh, that's Queen Elizabeth. I said, even I know that's not Queen Elizabeth, you fucking idiots. If Kurt Money knows that, and you don't, Google, then that's sad.
That's AI for you.
Yeah, and then they said something about a Princess Theodora of Denmark and Greece or something. But again, because of that Queen Elizabeth bit, I'm not trusting a word of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
She was wearing like a green, but it had like fluff on the edges. Honestly, it looked like an alternate outfit for Mrs. Claus to wear. Like, not a red Christmas, but a green Christmas.
Was it just a robe?
It was like the gowns and capes that kings and queens wear in the paintings and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it. But anyway, point is, it was a who's who at that airport for this baby to land.
Tens of thousands of Icelanders were present at the airport. Among them was a majority of the nation's most powerful people.
3 pilots were selected to fly the jet back to Iceland from Seattle. Johannes Sorensen. We're going to be doing a lot of first names here, because those I was able to work with. Last names, woo, doggies. I couldn't do it.
Well, all the men, their last names end in son, and all of the women, their last names end in dottir.
Okay, but there's about 6 syllables. Like, there's 6 things that happen before son in all the names, so I'm not sure if that helps me out too much, Kate.
Okay.
The great honor of piloting the jet's maiden voyage to Iceland was given to Johannes R. Snorrason, head pilot.
Second in line was Gunnar Fredriksson, and his number 2 was a guy named Thorstate. Now, Gunnar Fredriksson, this is the guy we're going to be talking about. He was super pumped to go down in Icelandic history.
Gunnar had believed that when he would complete the course at Boeing, he would fly the jet with Johannes and therefore go down in Icelandic aviation history.
And I will say this. He's the second most famous gunner from Iceland. Kate, go ahead and impress me if you know who I'm talking about. Another famous gunner.
I went to school with a gunner.
That's him. That's who I was talking about. You nailed it, Kate. It was Kate's classmate, Gunner. No, of course I am speaking of Gunnar Hansen, who played Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I never would have gotten that.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. After you stop screaming, you'll start talking about it.
Kate's rolling her eyes, but I know I've got some fellow Holtheads out there. Perhaps Star is doing me an air high five right now because he knows who Gunnar Hansen is. That's for show. Anyway, this is Gunnar Fredrickson, not as cool.
Gunnar was ecstatic about the task he had been entrusted with, and to have been mentioned in the Icelandic press as one of those who would fly the pride of Icelandic aviation home from the U.S.
There's one thing we're going to learn about Gunnar is he's going to blame a lot of other things, but I feel like his main concern should be his alcoholism. What do you think, Kate? What do you think?
I think that's fair.
These 3 pilots are in Seattle. The first guy, Johannes, he was in a group of pilots. They had completed their training. And the other 2 pilots, the numbers 2 and 3, Thorstein and Gunnar, they were in the second group of training pilots. And their training was going to be completed like days before this flight. Kate, why are you looking at me like that?
I'm not looking at you like that. I'm looking at the story like that. Because this was such weird planning on everyone's part.
Yeah. And I doubled this stuff. I was able to double check, but for whatever reason, Boeing, they decided to bump up the date a few days. Let's get this jet out of here.
Let's get this bird in the air. We don't want it.
Yeah.
The second group's training course was not scheduled to end until 2 days later.
Now, this means that Gunnar and Thorstein, number 2 and 3, they're not going to be done with their training to fly this thing, to fly this jet specifically. Mm-hmm. They still need 3 more classes, which is 6. They need 6 more hours of practice in the sky. Now, because they don't have it, they're not allowed. This is my question to you. Did Air Iceland want them to stay in Seattle and finish their training and then fly back on a second plane somehow?
I think so. It wouldn't have been an Air Iceland plane. I think it would have been some other plane. But it sounds like they were still going to finish their training.
If they had stayed. But on the day of the flight, Gunnar meets Thorstein in the bar at the hotel. And he's pissed and he gets Thorstein all worked up. And they decide, drunk as hell, let's go home on this first flight so we could be there and meet Queen Elizabeth, JK. Princess Theodora, so we can get the glory and be heroes, and then we'll just finish our training back in Iceland. Now, this seems reasonable.
It does.
I think, because their thinking was the people that are training them are flying to Iceland as well. So there are going to be some Boeing pilots in Iceland when they land. So they're thinking...
And also, they want time, they want those 6 hours on this exact plane, I guess. So if the plane leaves... What are they going to train on?
They're in Seattle, though, so there's probably other jets they could have trained on. I genuinely think it was they wanted to be able to sit in the cockpit for the first flight and show up and wave and get off the plane. Mm-hmm. Because they weren't even going to be flying it. Like, I know you need more than one pilot, but Johannes was the main pilot. So would they have been like co-pilots? They'd probably been sitting up there with them, right?
There'd be a co-pilot and then an alternate.
So maybe that was them?
Yeah.
When they tried to get their practice days moved up, this was clearly just an exact translation because the Boeing instructors refused to deviate from the plan. It was not considered desirable. That to me is like, what? Is that what they said? This is not considered desirable to us.
That is just Google Translate.
And Boeing's instructors refused to deviate from the plan. It was not considered desirable.
They wanted to move their practice days up so they could make it. So you're saying that there were probably other planes that flew to Iceland? This wasn't the only one, so they could have caught another flight a week later?
Well, sure. I mean, Reykjavik had an airport. It's just, this was the first plane that was going to be in the Icelandic air fleet.
First jet. I feel like it wasn't the first plane, right? I mean, it was
Boeing,
already an airport.
The first Boeing jet, yeah. But I think other airlines flew into Reykjavik all the time.
Oh, okay. I guess I'm just like, Gunnar this is really going to set him back. And before he becomes an asshole, I guess I'm kind of with him. Like, they were in the States training for this and stuff. Like, why was it moved up 5 days or whatever?
My question is, why wouldn't the first group just be the ones scheduled to fly it? Why are there 2 training groups?
Yeah. It's like we're talking about 3 pilots, but the way they make it sound, there were 2 groups of pilots. Mm-hmm. So that there could be 10 total or something, right?
So why even have this second group at all?
I don't know. So I guess Gunnar just really wanted to be on that first flight. But these guys could have finished their training and come home and flight number 2. Like, who cares?
Well, they cared.
Yeah, Gunnar cared specifically. My heart kind of goes out to Thorstate. This dude was a war hero as well, which is probably why he's able to find work later. But I feel like he was kind of egged on by Gunnar. Gunnar is the main asshole in this story, I feel.
Yep.
So Gunnar took this insult personally, and when we see him, when he was trying to get the practice flights moved, what's happening in the B-roll? This dude's running down those stairs. He's kicking walls. He's breaking stuff, right?
Just a really aggro idiot.
Very, very.
This upset Gunnar a great deal. He thought the behavior of the representatives of the airline towards him was preposterous.
But yeah, Johan G, he's like the flight manager and stuff. And he tried to get those practice days moved up. He tried to make it so these dudes could finish their training and everything would be smooth. But it was turned down by Boeing, okay? This is important to remember because Gunnar takes this personally. This is an affront to him, and he's blaming Johan, his like boss, who's head of operations. He's super pissed. He says he thinks Johan is keeping him from his dream.
Men.
In fact, he was convinced that Johan himself had been responsible for his misfortune.
Okay, so they get drunk. They get super hammered. This is in the middle of the day on a Friday, and the thing's flying out that night. Gunnar has a great idea. He says, let's just hop on this flight tonight, force our way on, and fly home and finish training there.
Gunnar suggested that they pack their things and take the jet home in the evening, regardless of the training they had left.
They both leave the bar. They go back to their rooms to nap, or at least Thorstate does. This is where the some of the translation stuff was kind of funny because they framed it like Gunnar knocked on the door and he had his bag ready to go. And Thorstate, he felt bad. He didn't want to go back in his word. He didn't want to be called a liar, they said. So he was like, okay, I guess I'll go with you. So he packs.
Thorstein didn't want to go back on his word, so he quickly got his luggage together and brought it out to the cab.
But what do they bring with them in this cab, Kate? Not just their bags, not just their sour attitude.
Alcohol.
Alcohol, yeah. They're getting hammered in the cab.
That nap didn't do shit. They are f***ed up.
Yeah, and we only know Thorstate took a nap. I bet Gunnar kept drinking.
Oh, yeah.
I bet Gunnar, he kept partying. Now, they show up, and they show him, like, cutting the line to go in. And Johan and Johannes, this is the head pilot, and also the flight manager is Johan. They're telling them, you can't get on the plane, you can't get on the plane. You're an embarrassment to us.
Yeah.
Like, they were like, come on, this is a big deal for us. They refuse. They get on, and they ride in with the passengers, and we see them, the B-rolls, like them big old bottles of vodka and stuff. And Johan decides, just to avoid a scandal, he says, all right, we'll let you guys fly, but can you be cool? This was a mistake.
It was a mistake.
I mean, I'm feeling for the other people on this flight that these two drunk assholes showed up.
Especially because I would assume there were some important people on this flight. If it was going to be greeted by whatever queen or princess when they landed.
You're right.
So to have these two drunk stooges mixing in,
yeah,
it's a very bad idea.
The flight operations manager, Johan Gislason, gave in towards the end to avoid a scandal which would be an embarrassment to the Icelandic airline and the country as a whole.
But also, this was interesting. They showed some headlines where, like, at this time, there were articles about our pilots trained enough. Like, there was, like, some sort of brewing scandal, not scandal, but it was kind of like they were under the microscope for are they training their pilots enough. So I think the feeling was we're not gonna do anything to mess with this.
If you remember, back in the day, planes were crashing all the time.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
So I would imagine there was some scrutiny on whether or not the pilots are trained enough, because I think a lot of it was pilot error back then.
So you mean, is this in the 60s when the planes were getting bigger and bigger? Or
if you look up like a history of airline crashes, they had like one a week for 50 years.
Really?
Yeah.
And planes are expensive. I mean,
They are.
look, life is priceless. Okay, so those people on these crash planes are who I'm worried about first.
Now,
Number
granted,
two
they
is the
weren't-
price of planes.
They weren't all Boeing jets. I think
Right.
mostly they were probably, what are they? McConnell Douglas, de Havilland, those littler propeller planes.
Okay, sure. I don't know. Those were all words. I know propeller plane, but those names you said, nothing. But you're into flights and stuff.
Yes.
Pushington and whatnot.
I listen to air traffic for fun.
That's it. That's it. That's the detail I forgot. So what's the coolest thing you've ever heard in air traffic?
Anything that Kennedy Steve said.
Who's that?
Kennedy Steve. This guy named Steve, he did air traffic at JFK, and he was hilarious.
He was like famous for it?
You can look him up now on YouTube. He's got a whole page of really funny videos. Just him
where he's just
being so sarcastic. Just
okay.
Reading the pilots for filth.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 30 if there's no. Say that again? 30, 30. Don't call me again until you're ready to taxi.
Okay. These two dudes, they had even offered to pay like the insurance penalty to train somewhere else. But this, again, they were like, no, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. They get back home and they are sent letters that demanded they explain themselves and their behavior.
Mm-hmm. Why were you drunk and forcing yourself onto a flight? You brought shame upon the great nation of Iceland.
That's right.
The day after the meeting with the president, the airline sent Gunnar and Thorstein a letter where they demanded that the two explain their behavior.
We hear Gunnar's letter, and it's honestly, it kind of reminded me of like apology notes we see on Instagram from canceled celebs, where it's like you're missing important stuff here, where you take responsibility for things.
Where was it kind of like, I'm so sorry that you feel that way?
No, not that classic, but it was kind of like the remember Kevin Spacey wasn't his first argument was like, hey, look, I'm gay, okay, so I'm like real torn up about stuff, so like that's why I'm molested and whatnot. This guy Gunnar was like, I was really excited and I was super pumped and it hurt my feelings and I just wish you hadn't asked me at all. That's how it started. It would have been better if this wasn't a thing at all. And then he says, and also look, I'm under a lot of stress. My kid almost died. He was in an accident and his friend died. So that's why I'm like, like mentally unstable right now. Zero mention of I might have a problem.
Right.
Nothing in there about booze.
And not taking accountability for his behavior at all. Just blaming it on his kid almost being a victim.
Yeah. Okay, the board, they get these letters. We don't know what Thorstein said.
I'm sure his was fine.
Yeah. But the board says, all right, well, you guys got to peace out. Resign right now, immediately. You're done flying for Air Iceland. I mean, this is devastating news.
Yeah. If you're a pilot in Iceland, that's your only shot.
Yeah. And I feel like a pilot way back then too, he had 4 kids and like this was like a job that came with a lot of like prestige, I feel. And so even if he found another job, it wasn't going to be as cool as when he was a pilot.
Yeah.
I suppose. And so Gunnar does not take this well at all.
Their transgressions were of such a serious nature that it was no longer possible to have them working for the airline.
He tries to get rehired, and there's a glimmer of hope because he talks to a guy that works for the airlines, this exec, and he's like, I'll see what I can do. I'll poke around. Thorstein, though, the other guy, he's like, all right, I'll get a job elsewhere. He goes to fly in Biafra, which only existed for 3 years. It was in Nigeria, and there was like a Nigerian civil war going on here. So he took a job flying over there. They didn't say that in this episode. So I had my arms crossed because Thorstein calls up Gunnar and is like, hey, dude, you want to come fly with me? There's plenty of gigs over here. We got a lot of work. And Gunnar said, no, thank you. And I was like, Gunnar, come on, take the gig. But then I Googled it, and there was a whole war thing going on. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, scary.
Yeah, that is scary.
If he's got 4 kids, he's got a whole family, he doesn't need to be putting himself at risk like that.
Yeah, and when I was reading about Thorstein's time over there, they would talk about how they would fly with their lights off until they were about to land.
Oof.
Because of so they don't get shot at and stuff.
It's kind of badass too. It's scary, but it's kind of badass.
Yeah. Well, Thorstein's already a war hero, so he's probably like, this is
piece of cake. This is bringing me back.
Yeah. This is a Tuesday for me, Gunnar. I'm over here doing it.
I was doing this against the Luftwaffe.
That's right. Then Gunnar goes to the Oddfellow house. I had to hop on the gig for this. Do you know what this is, Kate?
Is this some kind of government thing?
It is akin to like being a Mason or a Shriner. It's like one of those clubhouses that only old men belong to.
Oh, boo.
Yeah, it's one of those things. And so he goes there and he's drinking with his old coworkers, those pilots that still have a job. And he sees that exec there, and the exec was like, yeah, it's not worth looking into. This was another translation thing where I was like, I don't know, they could have worded this a little differently, right? But he says, yeah, dude, it's not going to happen. You're not going to get your job back. So how's Gunnar take this?
Not well, Kurt. He spirals.
He was told that the matter was hard to deal with and probably not worth looking into.
So this Gunner's hatred for Johan was growing and growing. He couldn't sleep. So now he's back at the Oddfellow house, drinking with these guys. And afterwards, they all hop in a car and he rides with them. And this was the way they worded this is so funny. He got into a car with his ex-coworkers. Then he felt his presence was not welcome. So he made a fuss. And he got out of the car. That's what they said.
He was being a drunk dickhead.
Yeah, and
they were like, man, that's not cool. And he was like, well, you're not cool.
And he was probably like, pull over.
And he probably opened the door while the car was moving.
Yeah. Yeah, so they show B-roll of him getting out. He's pissed. And now's where we're saying, well, Gunner was really thinking about killing Johan G for a year now. This has now been a year of him trying to get his job back. It's not working. And he's super pissed at the head of operations because he thinks Johan purposely didn't let him fly. Little does he know, Johan fought for him to be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
The truth was that Johan sent a message from Seattle to the airline to ask if the training could be brought forward, but was declined. Gunnar's feelings towards Johan were therefore misguided.
And we're going to find out Johan G is a great dude. People love him, don't they?
They do. A real pillar of the community.
Hey, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. So finally, he's fed up. This was after he storms out of the Uber that he had with his drunk buddies.
It's an Uber.
He hops in his car. Now, what kind of car was that, Kate? It was kind of cool looking.
Oh,
was it? You said GT on the side. Is that a possibility? Is that how?
I'm sure that's what it was. Yeah, a GT, but I did not clock it.
Okay, so he hops in there at 4:45 a.m. He drives over to Johan G's house. He rings the doorbell. No one answers. This pisses him off. It's 4:45 a.m. Why aren't people up and answering me?
Why are they not right here at the door waiting for me?
Yeah. He breaks a window and gets inside. Johan G and his wife wake up to the sounds of their kids screaming like, Dad, 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 there's somebody in here. So they get up and they see friggin' Gunner in the hallway and they tussle. And I love that the show pointed out, without saying a word, they fought.
While they struggled, neither man spoke a word.
How do they know that?
That's kind of a fun detail. Like, well, look, I mean, there's a lot of survivors in there and those kids probably, you know what? They could, you know what? We do talk to one of the 6 police officers that showed up to the crime scene that day.
We do, although he doesn't say much.
He doesn't, and at first I was like, they haven't stated clearly he was at this crime scene. This could just be an Icelandic former cop we're talking to right now. But then they did say that he showed up to go get him later, so I was like, okay, I trust him. But yet, maybe he took statements and stuff. And because Johan also had a ton of kids. He had a 17-year-old son, too. They're trying to force him out of here. And Gunner shoots Johan, and he falls to the ground. And then the tussle is just the 17-year-old, the dude's wife, and Gunner.
On the stairs.
On the stairs. And they make a point of saying, like, she gets kind of banged up, doesn't she?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she gets hurt. I mean, she's okay, but she gets hurt. And it's really the 17-year-old son who is the hero.
Yeah. Well, hang on. So right as he leaves, he says, I've been meaning to do this for a long time. Mm-hmm. He yells this and bounces. And he takes his gun, which, by the way, he had bought after he being fired. This was an unregistered pistol that for some reason rifle bullets fit in. Was that interesting to you?
And they said it like that too. They said, and somehow rifle bullets fit in this pistol.
Yeah, that was weird.
Like they were confused also.
Yeah.
He picked it up and loaded it with rifle bullets that coincidentally fit.
Boy, I'd be scared to shoot a gun with bullets that weren't supposed to go in that gun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that sounds scary. But anyway, he did that. But what's he do with the murder weapon? This is a super smart murderer, okay? What's he do with the gun as soon as he leaves the house to get back in his car? He also reeks of alcohol, of course. Mm-hmm. He's still housed at this point. What's he do with the gun, Kate?
I don't remember.
Throws it in the street. Just tosses it under a car.
Right there in front of Johan's house.
Yeah. Yep. And then there was some fun back and forth. Let's not say fun. I'm going to take that back. There's a lot of activity where the wife goes downstairs to have the neighbors call for an ambulance. The neighbors are like, our phone's busted. Can't help you. So then she goes back upstairs to call on her phone.
I think it was just panic in the moment, not doing the logical thing. But it was okay because her son beat her to it. He already called them.
Yeah.
But the police were already on their way. Johan and Vilborg's oldest son, Christian, had already notified them that an armed man had broken into their home. 6 police officers drove to the scene in 2 cars.
Okay, so the ambulance shows up. They rush Johan to the hospital. What's the verdict? Does he make it?
He does not.
He doesn't. Meanwhile, Gunner drives to the service counter at the airport, his former workplace, covered in blood, reeking of booze, right? And remember, this is like 5:30 a.m., so the night crew is still there. And the guy recognized him. He's like, oh, that's that old asshole who got fired a year ago. Let's let him in.
Come on in.
So he lets him in, right?
Yeah.
He lets him in, and then he calls the police to ask for assistance because there's someone who has gone mad here.
A funny translation, but
Yeah.
pretty accurate, I think.
The guard called the police and asked for assistance dealing with a man who had gone mad.
Yeah, and Gunnar hears this. He hears this call to the police, and he says, I'm sorry, did you think that I was going to get arrested here? You think I was going to allow them to arrest me?
Are you saying that I have gone mad?
Wait, are you talking about me?
Gunnar heard this and turned around and yelled, "Do you think I'm going to let myself get arrested here?"
So 2 officers from the crime scene go to the airport. We talked to one of these guys. He's super old. And they do the cool translation where he's speaking language, and then you wait a beat, and then we hear the translation over it and stuff.
Yeah.
Now we hurried over there. He appeared intent on committing suicide. He had a knife that we thought he could off himself with.
The cops show up to look for him. They can't find him. More cops show up. Now they've got 6 cops, and they're looking for him. Where's Gunnar? Where do they find this guy?
Oh, yeah. Wasn't he somewhere crazy?
They find him in like a storage closet, okay? And sticking out of his chest is his pocket knife.
But don't worry, Kurt. It wasn't in very deep.
No. And they gave us...
He couldn't do it.
No. And bless this show for giving us the visual of one. It didn't look like a pocket knife to me. It looked like a butter knife. So this might be a BYB to me. Did you see it? It looked like a butter knife. It didn't look like a knife that folds, for one.
I don't know.
What? Come on.
Kill me, shouted Gunnar. His pocket knife was sticking out of his chest, as if he had made an attempt to kill himself. But the wound was shallow.
It's sticking out. There's a little blood on his chest. But they basically say the wound was superficial. So we go back to the knife, and it just goes boop, boop. It droops. Boop. Like clearly. It wasn't even sticking in him, right? This guy's a wimp. And so they show up, and he's going, kill me, kill me, kill me. And I want to know why on earth he would say such a thing when we get to his sentencing. Like, why would he want to die for this? The guy does so little in prison, I feel. Like, what?
You're right. His sentence is it's hardly anything.
No, so they arrest him and they build a case, and like he confesses, but also they find the gun, they find a bullet in the wall at the crime scene that matches bullets at Gunnar's house. Like this, they got him dead to rights. And so they take him to trial. There's a whole nonsense where the doctor this was another translation thing where he basically says, but without saying it, he was drunk, but it's not enough to excuse it. Like, he still has to stand trial, basically.
Gunnar was considered responsible, although according to the head doctor at Iceland's main mental institution, he was self-centered and lacked consideration for other people.
And he gets a life sentence over there, which at the time, and still be now, was 16 years. And he only serves 6.
Ridiculous.
So, like, why? I don't understand, because, okay, so this is 1968. He's out by 75. Guess what year this man died in?
Was it recent?
2013. He lived to the age of 91.
A long, happy, fulfilled life.
Yeah, and also his wife stayed with him.
Did she?
His wife did not leave him. So, hey, good for him. And he clearly found work. I mean, he had to be employed for the next 50 years somehow when he got out.
We don't do it like that here.
No. For murder cases, I like that we really throw the hammer down. I like it.
I guess in Scandinavia, maybe they don't have as many violent crimes. Their sentences are lighter. They believe in rehabilitation.
Right.
I don't know.
This happens in England all the time, too, where killers get 8 years or 12. Like, it's a ton of this. And the show ends abruptly. It's weird. It goes, he got 16, he served 6. He regretted his deeds the rest of his life. Okay, how do you regret it? What are you talking about?
Because you said you regret it? It did end very abruptly. I couldn't even finish reading the titles, and it just cut.
Yeah.
He did his sentence and regretted his deeds throughout his life.
It was weird, but they were on the clock. Okay, it was 26 men. That's all they had. They had to get in and out. So I tried to look into stuff about this online. I found a Reddit thread about it that basically translated this episode. It was a real disappointment. I was bummed. I was like, oh, this is so much info. And I was reading it, and it says word for word what the episode said. I was
What's in the episode? Helpful.
I was like, guy, I got Amazon Prime too. So this is not helping me. But supposedly he said to the guard at the airport, he said, I probably killed someone. When I hate, I mean it.
If that line was actually said, and if I were the judge,
Yeah.
that would make the sentence longer.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of the judge. So this was late 60s Iceland. They had some, what I assume was period accurate B-roll stuff going on, right? Did you see that stretcher they had?
They had some good stuff. They had, the car. They had some good wardrobe. I think a lot of the buildings are probably still of that era, so that was easy to do, but it wasn't bad.
The stretcher looked like the top of a bassinet for an adult. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It looked pretty funny. I was like, oh, interesting. All right, so that brings us to the end of our first Nordic crime. I think it's time for those lists. What do you got?
Kate's unnamed list. I don't have a thing.
No? Nothing? On to Kurt's Kick-Ass List.
Kick-ass list.
Well, I made my own list by mentioning Gunnar Hansen from Texas Chainsaw. We're sneaking it in there, Kate. You can't stop me.
Okay.
Okay. And B-roll you busted about this butter knife. That is a total B-roll you busted. Busted! And this is not a B-roll you busted, but the judge, his gavel was square. Did you see that?
Like a meat cleaver?
Yeah, I only know round gavels. Is this country to country? Or what's up? Am I just not familiar with square gavels?
Maybe Iceland just prefers different shapes.
Okay. Well, that was pretty cool. But we got a static twice.
Gunnar was ecstatic about the task he had been entrusted with, and the crew was ecstatic to have gotten to fly the first Icelandic jet.
And that was a genuine BYB with the butter knife, so I'm satisfied with my list. That brings us...
Good, honey.
Thank you. What are we forgetting here, Kate? Well, what's your takeaway from this? How you
If you're
feeling?
going to do a murder, do it in 1960s Iceland.
Yeah. And if you're going to do a murder terribly, in all the ways, right? Toss the gun outside the crime scene, shoot a bullet in the wall, don't pick up the shells or whatever. Are you going to watch any more of this?
No.
See, I watched this one and I was like, I can't wait to devour these, but the rest kind of happened in like 2013, and it's like it's basic crime stuff. It doesn't feel very Icelandic, I suppose.
Do they have one on Anders Breivik?
I don't think they do. Like it's weird stuff where it's like a jealous spouse. It feels like Snapped Light type stuff. I was like, you guys started strong. You started friggin' strong. But anyway, anything else?
Nope.
And on that note, I'm Kurt Money.
I'm Caitlin.
Kill me, kill me.